Justin Bieber's public unraveling is not just another celebrity drama. It's the culmination of a story that began when he was barely a teenager. What we're seeing today, disjointed Instagram videos that worry fans, tense confrontations with relentless paparazzi, the shocking decision to sell off his entire music catalog, and a multi-million-dollar settlement with his longtime manager resolved far from the public eye, are not isolated events. They are chapters in a larger narrative of exploitation and control. The industry that first discovered Justin on YouTube and rushed to package him as the perfect teen idol was never built to nurture or protect him. It was designed to extract maximum profit, and it succeeded spectacularly. His childhood was monetized. His adolescence was broadcast as entertainment. His adulthood, with all its struggles, became another commodity to sell. Every stage of his life has been turned into content, a product marketed to fans and used to keep the lights on for executives, labels, and managers. Now, as the pressure of that system takes a visible toll, the machine hasn't slowed down. If anything, it's adapted, finding ways to cash in on his struggles as effectively as it once cashed in on his innocence. For viewers, the shocking headlines might feel like fresh scandals or sudden breakdowns. But when you look closer, none of it seems accidental. There's a through line, a global superstar who has been managed, steered, and manipulated at nearly every turn, with his pain transformed into profit. Tonight, we're not just tracing the events of Justin's downfall. We're examining the structure behind it, an entertainment engine designed to manufacture stars, strip them of autonomy, and then recycle their hardships back into the business model. This is the story of how a gifted 13-year-old busker from Stratford, Ontario, became a household name, and how that same fame has been systematically used against him. Ultimately, it's about more than music or celebrity gossip. It's about the cost of turning a human life into a product, and what happens when that product starts to break. This isn't a single mistake or a bad hair week. It's a long pattern: discovery, dependency, control, and then extraction. To understand now, we have to go back to the beginning. In 2008, a shy 13-year-old with a bowl cut sang on the steps of a small Ontario theater. A homemade YouTube clip changed everything. Scooter Braun, then a young manager, found him, flew him down to Atlanta, and pitched the dream: fame, money, a life otherwise impossible. The story the industry loved was simple: the small-town kid made it in America. But behind that narrative, decisions were being made that would lock control of Justin's life, his schedule, his image, his money, into a system he didn't design. From the beginning, the spotlight didn't just document Justin, it manufactured moments. First kiss becomes a headline. Voice cracks become content. TV hosts staged humiliations and ambush interviews, all presented as fun, while the pressure on a teenager built up publicly. Powerful grown-ups orbiting a minor, lavish gifts, and high-gloss promises. These are patterns that reappear across his career. What often looks like a glittering partnership between artist and industry is, beneath the surface, an intricate web of financial traps designed to keep the talent indebted and dependent. Contracts are rarely just about album sales. They frequently roll together revenue streams from touring, merchandising, sponsorships, streaming, and even future royalties into one massive pool. The catch is that this pool is immediately tapped to pay down existing obligations, meaning an artist's new earnings are almost always paying off yesterday's debts before they ever reach their own pocket. Labels and managers frame advances as generous lifelines, but in reality, they are structured loans that must be recouped. These advances don't just cover music production, they also pay for things like wardrobe, travel, dancers, marketing campaigns, and even personal expenses that get logged as business costs. Each of these is then billed back to the artist, shrinking the margin they actually receive from their own work. What makes this more dangerous is the lack of transparency. Accounting ledgers are often opaque, padded with charges that are difficult, sometimes impossible, for an artist to challenge without expensive legal intervention. When a world tour underperforms, or worse, collapses due to health issues or unforeseen crises, the financial damage doesn't vanish into corporate losses. Promoters and insurers may reclaim their share, but artists often end up carrying the liability through indemnity clauses buried in contracts. This can mean millions owed back, not just in ticket revenue, but in travel reimbursements, staging costs, and canceled sponsor obligations. On top of that come layered commissions, management fees, agency cuts, legal retainers, and business manager percentages, each siphoning money before the artist ever sees a check. Add in third-party financing arrangements, such as bridge loans to cover payroll or expenses between tours, and what looks like an empire of wealth quickly becomes a fragile balancing act. Even billion-dollar earning stars can find themselves cash poor, their creative freedom curtailed by constant financial pressure. The end result is a model that ensures those who design and control the system, the executives, managers, and financiers, are insulated from risk, while the artist, who supplies the talent and the labor, shoulders the long-term burden. That's why so many stars, despite apparent success, eventually turn to desperate measures, selling their catalogs, signing away rights, or entering deals that strip them of future security just to survive the present. It's a structure built not to protect the performer, but to keep the machine fed, no matter the cost to the individual at its center. In June 2022, Justin Bieber revealed in an emotional video that he had been diagnosed with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, a rare neurological condition caused by the varicella-zoster virus. The illness left one side of his face temporarily paralyzed and forced him to cancel a large portion of his Justice World Tour. For an artist whose primary revenue stream depended on touring, this wasn't just a personal health crisis. It carried massive financial repercussions. Dozens of shows were abruptly canceled or postponed, disappointing fans and straining contractual obligations with promoters, insurers, and sponsors. Even with partial insurance coverage, the lost ticket sales and penalties added significant pressure to an already delicate financial situation, compounding the sense that Bieber's career momentum had been suddenly and brutally interrupted. By the end of that year, Bieber faced a crossroads. In December 2022, he sold the rights to his entire music catalog, approximately 291 songs spanning his career, to Hipgnosis Songs Capital for an estimated $200 million. While this instantly provided him with liquidity and made headlines as one of the largest deals of its kind for such a young artist, it also meant relinquishing decades of future royalty streams that could have provided steady income for the rest of his life. For context, catalogs often appreciate in value as streaming grows, so the decision was widely viewed as both a lifeline and a sacrifice, trading stability for short-term survival. As the money story unfolded, Justin's public behavior grew erratic to many observers: odd filter-filled videos, spiritual proclamations, and emotion-laden posts. For viewers, it's easy to laugh or judge. For someone who grew up under a camera his entire life, those moments are symptoms. The same system that made him often prolong the pressure that broke him. In July 2025, Justin released Swag, his first major album in 4 years, an album many described as raw and processing trauma. The release, and a surprise follow-up later in the year, was a reminder: the machine both profits from pain and monetizes recovery. This is not only Justin's story. From Britney to Macaulay Culkin to more recent K-pop trainees, the industry has a recurring template: find young talent, concentrate control, monetize vulnerability, and when the star cracks, package their breakdown into content. Social platforms accelerated the loop. Now every stumble becomes instant, global revenue. So what would a real fix look like? Better contract transparency, true fiduciary oversight, protections for minors, and a cultural shift away from profiting from public suffering. For Justin, the short term was survival. The long term needs freedom, not more packaging. The machine that made Justin Bieber gave him everything, and took a lot in return. Whether he finds an escape route or is pulled back to be sold again, this industry lesson will repeat unless we change how we value people over profit.